I'd like to call the meeting back to order. If we could all rise, please, for the pledge. Students?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Public communications, communications from our student board reps.
Good evening, board. I hope you guys are all doing well. For the student report, the NHS blood drive in collaboration with the Red Cross will be held on October 30th following this. Sorry, I'm like out of breath because I like ran from the parking lot.
Take a breath,
All right.
Following this, the NHS fall induction ceremony is set for October 31st, 2024. The BCAP program kicks off this week, organizing students by their self-declared career pathways to better align with their future goals. As the quarter comes to a close on October 31st, 2024, students are looking forward to homecoming weekend, or homecoming week. Highlights include Spirit Week, a pep rally, and the highly anticipated homecoming football games on November 8th, leading up to the homecoming dance on November 9th. Recently, the school community came together for the Red Ribbon Rally with strong participation from sports team and clubs.
Good evening, board. As for our district event, Daranowski is hosting their Apex fundraiser run on Thursday, October 24th, 2024. The all-day event is a accumulating activity from the 2-week buildup of lessons surrounding future leaders. Students have received lessons from our incredible Apex leaders and prizes galore. DePaulo sports teams will be wrapping up their season next week. Students from DePaulo had their first advisory lesson this week. The goal of advisory is to build positive adult relationships in a caring environment while they are able to learn about academic success, career planning, time management, bullying, and emotional intelligence. Students remain with their advisory teacher throughout their whole middle school experience. Unity Day was October 16th. Unity Day is a national movement that brings people together against bullying and promotes kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. Students and staff at DePaulo wore orange that day to express their support. This week, many members of the DePaulo community also came together for the annual Light a Pumpkin event. Students participated in a variety of activities, including the pumpkin carving contest, with over 300 people in attendance. At JFK, the 8th graders participated in a successful Grit and Wit experience on October 11th. The day was a full competitive team-building activity where collaboration was key to solving specific puzzles and accomplishing strategic tasks. On the other 8th grade news, activities in preparation for high school are beginning tomorrow. Representatives from Southington High School will meet with the 8th graders to discuss programs and course offerings at SHS. We are also preparing for the annual Veterans Day ceremony. Students who have family members or friends who are veterans or actively serving in the military are encouraged to invite their special veteran to JFK on November 13th at 9 o'clock. A short concert and presentation will occur, followed by a reception. This event at JFK is a special way of thanking those who serve in the military. Members of our local American Legion will also be in attendance. And I'd like to pass the microphone over to Ethan for our sports report.
For the sports, the girls volleyball team defeated Northwest Catholic in Guilford this week to complete an undefeated 18-0 regular season and remain ranked number 1 in the state going to the postseason. The team will host the CCC Conference Champion Tournament this Friday night at 6 p.m. At the CCC Conference Cross Country Championships on October 15th, the boys team finished 2nd place and the girls team in 6th place. The CIAC Class LL State Championships for both teams is this Saturday at Wickham Park in Manchester. The girls soccer team finished the regular season winning 3 straight games, including a 2-1 come from behind victory over the Northwest Catholic to clinch the berth in the Class LL State Tournament starting Saturday, November 2nd. The boys soccer team also finished the regular season with a 1-0 victory over Northwest Catholic, qualifying for the CIAC Class LL Tournament starting on Friday, November 1st. Tomorrow, the girls swimming and dive team celebrates Senior Day in its meet versus Berlin at the YMCA pool, starting at 3:45. The Blue Knights varsity football team travels to East Hartford Friday night, and the kickoff is at 6:15. At the middle schools this week, the DePaulo and Kennedy girls and boys soccer games took place yesterday, and the special cross-country meet took place on the SHS campus this afternoon. And the annual Dig Pink volleyball match for breast cancer awareness takes place at JFK tomorrow at 3:45. And that's it. Thank you.
Any questions for our student reps? Thank you, students. Communications from Board of Education members. Okay, Mrs. Carmody goes first.
Yes, last week on Friday, Jasper, Dave, and I had a curriculum meeting at Southington High School, and it was the first time, and Bob, no, I'm sorry.
Dave wasn't there.
No, Bob,
That's okay.
Jasper, and myself. I apologize. A curriculum meeting at the high school, and I didn't really have an understanding of how this Smart Pass worked. I don't know if Jasper did or Bob did, but I didn't. Totally impressed with the security that we have at the high school going into the new doorways. It was unbelievable. But there were teachers in the hallway that had hall duty, and they had pictures of all of the students that were out of the classroom, where they were, what time they left the classroom, where they were going. And I was with a security guard who would walk me down to where we had to go to our room, which was down at the other end of the building. And he said to this lady that was on duty, this kid should have been back by now. So he was going to find out where he was because he was too long, wherever the situation was. Very impressive, I thought. It really was. Picture of the kid, where they were going, and the teachers keep track of it. And I was just impressed with it. Now, I know that nothing is 100% foolproof, but it certainly is a really good beginning, and I was really impressed with it. Very impressed with our security on the school. And the other thing that really impressed me was the cleanliness of Southington High School. It just sparkled. It looked wonderful. I haven't been there in a while, so it was a great day. And we'll talk more when we have our curriculum report, but it was very impressive. I don't know if Bob or Jasper want to say anything about that, but
Yeah, I would just echo off the Smart Pass system. I was also impressed, not just by the tool itself, but also by the engagement and the proactive use of it by everyone that we saw, right? So it seems like a very good tool.
And as someone who taught there, the traffic was minimal.
Nobody.
There weren't kids out just
Nobody.
meeting their buddy in the bathroom. So it was great, it really was. And everybody we talked to was supportive of the system, so.
teachers are thrilled with it. Thrilled with it. So it was great to see it firsthand.
Good. Did you want to?
Sure. So this past week, we had earlier this week, we had the opportunity to attend the Red Ribbon Rally. I know several of us were there, Mr. Daranowski, Ms. Clark. Awesome experience every year. It's just fantastic to see what the town does to remind our students, the importance of staying off drugs. And again, it's also to see the student engagement. It's just a remarkable event, always very moving. Two other things I wanted to highlight. I think first of all, we all know it's political season, the election day is coming up. Only reason I bring it up is I think it's a good opportunity for parents to remind their children of the importance of participating in their civic duty, and they can show them the importance of it by participating in it themselves. So I think that's a great opportunity. And then on the backside of that, and I bring this one up because we won't have our next board meeting until after, but Veterans Day follows there a week later, and you can take that opportunity to remind your children the importance, obviously, of the sacrifice the veterans have made and why part of that civic duty is even available to them because of the sacrifice that the men and women make every day. So I just wanted to highlight those points.
Yes, Mr. Brzezinski.
I had the opportunity to attend the 40th anniversary of our, Bread for Life.
Ah, okay.
At Southington High School. I want to commend Mr. Palmieri and all of his DePaulo kids that went over. They were serving all the people that attended. They actually worked with SOCA as well, and were able to give out actual soup bowls that were handmade by the artists at SOCA. Just a great attendance event and excellent food. It was a blast, just seeing all the kids and doing a great job serving, so.
Good. I just want to echo what Mr. Williams said about the Red Ribbon Rally. What impressed me the most was how respectful everyone was of the speakers, how the speakers were awesome. But what always gets me at the end is when everyone circles the green and holds candles. It's what makes our town the town it is. And it was just a really special night. And kudos to the kids, because they were really, it was wonderful. It was just a wonderful, probably one of the best ones I've been to. No offense, I know you weren't there, Mr. Pepe, but it was really wonderful. Also, STEPS has invited me to join at LiveWell, formerly known as the Alzheimer's Resource Center, Dementia Positive Southington, and they've asked to have LiveWell town stakeholders are trying to have a community-driven effort to reshape how we look at dementia and people that are dealing with it. LiveWell is gathering Southington residents, town leaders, community-based organization, academia, and professionals from across the state for events that are taking place between October 27th and the 30th. And I'm going to share a link to go in our minutes. What they're trying to do is to talk about dementia-positive community focuses on adjusting attitudes, beliefs, communications, and behaviors to create a community where perceptions of people living with dementia are driven by their strength and contributions, not by the anticipation of cognitive decline. And I don't think there's any family in our community that hasn't been impacted or knows someone who has been impacted by dementia, and sadly, it is a growing illness. So I'm looking forward to going to this first meeting on whatever day it is, sometime next week, and I'm not sure, I think it's the 30th, finding out more information, and I'll be bringing it back at our next meeting, okay? All right. Okay, so moving right along now, if we could have Mr. Bedancy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've got several items for you this evening. Some are just informational. One is that Mr. Romano and his department have completed the annual Tools for Schools required air quality inspections, and they are posted on the website as is required by legislation. These are not to be mistaken for the more comprehensive HVAC inspections that are due, and for that statute, those are within 5 years, 20% of your schools per year, starting in 2026. So you'll have more information on the HVAC inspections, but this is just the in-house inspections that we do. Sadly, we are only in late October, but it is budget season starting next week. We'll start to meet with school administration and discuss their current levels of staffing, anticipated needs, major projects and equipment, and any capital items. So. As you all know, it starts this time each year, and we begin to gather information. And as we did last year, we do hope to bring you, at least for the December meeting, an iteration of what was requested. But we know that's not always what we can present once we have to sharpen the pencil. Mr. Pepe, we'll take the next item for you, district threat assessment.
Thank you. Last year, you'll remember that we talked a little bit, introduced to you that our social workers, psychologists, administrators, and counselors were all trained in the CSTAG model. The CSTAG model is the Comprehensive School Threat Assessment Guideline. Sadly, we find ourselves consistently receiving information where students have made either suicidal ideation, homicidal ideation, and this model allows us, it guides us through a process to categorize the threat in one of 4 levels, and then it serves as an if-then process. So if it is a tertiary threat, then we do certain things. If it is a substantive threat, then we do certain things. So they were all trained last year. Unfortunately, again, some schools had to use the school-based process to go through the CSTAG assessment for a variety of situations. Based on what we used, they gave feedback. So the core group, myself, Kaylee Steinagel, and Jen Hinckley. Kaylee is a school counselor. Jen Hinckley is a psychologist for us. We met again based on the feedback that we're given, revised process, streamlined, and reissued all of the paperwork out. And we are up and running again.
Thank you, Mr. Pepe. Mr. Pepe and myself, along with 3 Southington police officers, also had an opportunity on the 16th to attend a digital threat assessment training. As you know, there's obviously, unfortunately, a growing movement of people making online threats, and then other students are reposting them, or districts are being flagged, and it creates unnecessary fear and anxiety amongst our student population. This first level of training, not someone who's on social media actively, and along with Mr. Pepe, not only was it eye-opening for us just in terms of the everyday use, but some of the more advanced tools and features that we do have at our disposal that can help us get to the bottom of some of certain posts and threads and things like that, to understand if are they original, is it a repost, where did it originate, and also working with the social media companies if they should be removed because of inappropriate content. And so that was one layer.
Another piece of that was, and it was educational for both of us, just some of the language. And when you see a post based on what the language is captured within, different hashtags, means different things. And it's like a different language that you don't pick up on unless you're aware of it. And as we talk all the time, once you see it and know it, you can't unsee it. I was amazed because as I went home and talked to 2 of my boys who are post-high school, but mentioned certain things to them, certain terms, they knew exactly what I was talking about. I had no idea. It was very beneficial.
So along those lines, we are then attending, this was kind of a qualifier training, again with the Southington Police Officers Advanced Digital Threat Assessment Training in a couple weeks, which again, hopefully provides us the tools necessary should online threats be made, trying to work with law enforcement and get to the bottom of it. On a positive note, we were proud to learn that in partnership with STEPS, we received it's called the Partnerships for Health and Healing Grant. It's a $10,000 grant over 4 years, so $40,000 total to partner on suicide prevention in the community. And so that's something we'll be giving you more information on as that evolves. And then lastly, I have Dr. Cavallaro with information on Columbia training.
Good evening. On September 17th, our social workers, school psychologists, and school counselors received the Columbia training, and essentially what that is, the Columbia Protocol, which is also known as the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale. So this is endorsed by the state, and it's adopted in many districts. They received this training. It was about 90 minutes in length. It was online training, but it was in person so that we could have some dialogue about certain scenarios with students when suicide risk comes up. And then they all received a certificate at the end. But what this Columbia tool does is it looks at the risk and severity. So is it a low-level risk? Is it a moderate? Or is it very severe? And then it also looks at just very plain language questions about, do students have a plan? Is this something that's happened in the last month, in the last 3 months? So that these mental health professionals in the schools can make a determination on whether or not we're calling 211, 911, parents, outside clinicians. So it was a very good training, and I feel like they felt more empowered on how to deal with any of the suicide risks that happen at the schools, unfortunately.
Any questions of the administration? Okay, thank you all. Communication from the public on agenda items only. Oh, okay, moving right along. Committee reports, curriculum and instruction meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on Friday, October 11th. First, we went over, Mr. Stupler presented to us a new curriculum for the School of Rock. If you guys remember, that came before us as a course offering maybe a year ago now. And so this was kind of presenting the new curriculum that will come along with that. I will say Mr. Stupler opened up the meeting by playing us a song and singing a song, and it was pretty impressive to see.
But he also said that I could try the drums.
He did.
Anytime, correct?
Yes, we urged him not to take you up on that offer.
Thank you.
Right.
So, but no, so the overall, the course, the curriculum for the course, it builds upon skills and concepts related to music theory, technique, and performance elements, and then ultimately, at the end, all the students will actually participate in a mini band. Again, it looks like a fantastic class, and I think we were all impressed with the curriculum offering. After that, Ms. Davenport presented a new Grade 8 Science Unit 1, Genetics. This unit overall, it talks about and investigates trait variations, environmental factors that influence muscle growth, and studies of genetic factors. It was very interesting. They actually showed, the way that they start this course is they actually show these two cows. And one of these cows is probably, 400 pounds at least heavier than the other one. And you can see just very muscular animal compared to one. And they use that to kind of, bring about the ideas where the students can start saying, like, why is that one different than the other? And they have all their formulations, what they think it might be. And then as they get into the actual course, they realize a lot of what they believed or perceived it would be, it's something totally different. And then that's how they get into how, like, the trait genotypes and stuff affect, how people genetically evolve or grow. So really interesting course there. And then after that, Ms. Riccio, she presented the SHS World Language Unit's revised curriculum. This was the Unit 2 for years 1 through 5. If you remember last meeting, we actually talked about the Units 1 that they had just presented. So this was the follow-on to that. It was for French, Italian, Latin, Mandarin, and Spanish courses. The curriculum has 6 overarching themes. They repeat each year for all levels of language. Personal and public identities, beauty and aesthetics, global challenges, science and technology, families and communities, and contemporary life. All of the units within the curriculum are culture-focused, with grammar and vocabulary serving as necessary tools to complete real-world tasks and target language. And I think that was the most interesting thing about it, is just, it's truly an immersive education and an experience, and I think it sets our students up for success that, quite frankly, I believe it actually sets our district above many of our peers. So it's great to see the good work that continues to happen through our foreign language offerings. And that was it for the committee meeting. If there's any questions, I'll take those.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Old business, town government communications. I don't have anything. Anybody else? No? Okay. Mr. Brzezinski?
I have two motions. The first motion was move that the board approves policy 5150, non-discrimination in students. This is a revised second reading.
Second?
You pick them. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
The second is policy 6112.1, Pledge of Allegiance, revised second reading. Move that the board approves.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Brzezinski. Okay, new business. We have the first reading for, I love this, School of Rock, the new curriculum at the high school. Grade 8 Science, Unit 1 Genetics. First reading for SHS World Language Year 1, Unit 2, Families and Communities. For French, Italian, Latin, Mandarin, and Spanish. SHS World Language Year 2, first reading, again, same languages, French, Italian, Latin, Mandarin, and Spanish. SHS World Language Year 3, French, Italian, Latin, Mandarin, and Spanish. World Language Year 4, Global Communities, first reading, same languages, French, Italian, Latin, Mandarin, Spanish. And lastly, SHS World Language Year 5, Global Communities, French, Latin American Studies, and Spanish. Okay, those are all first readings. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to a member of the Curriculum and Instruction Committee or Mrs. Apone. Okay? And the next item on the agenda, superintendent's proposed goals. Did you want to comment, or should I ask for a motion first?
Which way you call?
Mr. Darrenowski.
Yes, move to approve the superintendent's goals as presented.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Mr. Darrenowski.
I picked on your goals last year, and the superintendent and I had a conversation earlier. These are very aggressive, and, and I hate to see anybody fail, and he hasn't yet. But with everything going on with the school construction potential on for next year, I just hope you didn't bite off more than you could chew. But if you could make these, you'd be pretty close to a superstar.
Superstar.
It could be an interesting vote at the end.
I'm sorry?
It could be an interesting vote at the end to bestow on his superstar status.
Oh, it could, that it could. Anyone else like to say anything? Mr. Medancy, would you like to say something, or?
I understand your sentiments. I would say, though, some of the goals are a bit of a continuation from last year. Some of the work has been started, and so I'm optimistic that we can get it all done. But I do heed your guidance.
Mr. O'Shannon?
I like the engagement goal, and we had talked about this in policy, the one book community conversation. And I think this is a great one to start. It shouldn't be the last one. I think having those kinds of conversations with the community over really, really important issues is going to be important as time goes on, so that it doesn't take on a persona of one way or the other. Just open up that dialogue so people can have those conversations. It's a good one to start with, but don't let that be the only one.
To me, these goals are all about communication. It's communication with the community, it's communication with other boards and councils in town, it's about communication with the Board of Education, students, staff. I just hope you have the energy to continue, because you're doing so far so good, then let's see if we can't continue that. So, anyone else? No?
But I do agree to your sentiments, exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want to burn them out.
No, we don't want to burn them out, but it's a lot
Can't burn
of,
out the sun. Come on, guys.
okay, let's not get carried away, folks. All right.
But you're also surrounded by a really
Supportive.
top-notch
Yep.
staff
Yep.
that are going to help make
Yep.
these things
Yep.
happen, right?
Yep.
'Cause- And you say this all the time, these are your goals, but you have a team that helps you with these actions, which I think is, it's testament to what's been done. You're the leader. You lead these, you come up with these goals and objectives, and you have a great group to help.
Thank you. We do.
And he also has a good board.
There you go.
We got to pat ourselves on the back.
All right, pat yourself on the back, gang. All right,
Well, we should.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Communication from the public on non-agenda items. Anyone? Okay. Then, Mr. Darrenowski,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moved. 2 minutes.
What did you give for a time?
2 minutes.
Did you say?
What'd you have? We were 31 the last time. Ooh.
I hope.
That's why she said you have anything to add.
What did you, all right, what,
You said you have anything to add.
He had 27, I had 35. Bummer.
Way to go, Bob. Way to go, Bob.
It was you.
I haven't seen it in 6 months. Bob, he just wanted to